You ever hear a cleaning rod hit concrete and just know something big is about to change? That's how it started for me. Sitting in the armory at Fort Henderson, hand stained with gun oil, the low hum of fluorescent lights overhead, and Master Sergeant Morrison walking by like he owned every weapon in the room, hauling a Barrett M82 that I could have disassembled, blindfolded, rebuilt, and probably outshot him with from a moving truck. You know what I mean? 18 months of exile, stuck maintaining the very rifles that had once made my name in special operations, top of my sniper class, 3 tours in Afghanistan, all of it traded in for the privilege of scrubbing carbon off barrels while less qualified shooters went out for advanced marksmanship training. And every damn day, I reminded myself how I got here in subordination, they called it, but what it really was refusing to pull the trigger on a civilian family. Back in Kandahar, March 2022. I still see it clear as day, through my scope, sitting in Overwatch 300 meters out, supposed terrorist safe house lit up with laundry lines full of baby clothes, and an old woman tending tomatoes. No sign of enemy combatants, just life kids' laughter, a man prepping vegetables like any other local trying to get by. But try telling that to Lieutenant Colonel Thompson, who only heard what he wanted to hear, his voice clipped and cold through the radio. You're a trigger puller, not an analyst. Execute your orders. I stalled, called it in, laid out what I saw, begged for a pause, anything to stop what felt like an execution. It gave me 20 minutes, and then the order came, 3, 2, 1, execute. But I didn't fire. I couldn't. 7 innocent lives weren't going to end because someone high up wanted to check a box. I called for mission abort. That's all it took me. Career, my clearance, gone. And when the dust settled, all I had left was a desk in the basement, a red flag on my file, and a reputation that followed me like a bad tattoo. I became the base legend you never wanted to bait a shooter who wouldn't shoot. Rodriguez, my supervisor, tried to play it off with jokes about real soldiers and illegal orders, but you can hear the disappointment underneath. Morrison and his boys laughed behind my back. Vasquez still thinks she's a sniper. They didn't get it. None of them did. Every morning at 0500, I ran mental drills, plotted wind drift in my head, rehearsed the breathing exercises that kept me alive when it counted. Because while they were content to be good enough, I remembered what it was to be exceptional, and I held on to that, even as they handed me another filthy M16 to clean. Thing is, Fort Henderson ran on keeping people in their place. If you were trouble, if you made someone look bad, the system chewed you up and spat you out. Colonel Hayes, the CO, was more politician than soldier, never wanted to rock the boat, and as long as she kept the paperwork clean, nobody cared that the best marksman on base was stuck in maintenance. Thompson, safe in the Pentagon now, kept his record spotless, made sure I'd never see a promotion, never touch a sniper rifle in the field again. And every damn day, I watched lesser shooters take the assignments I bled for. But time changes things, sometimes in ways you don't see coming. I've been watching the AMU Advanced Marksmanship Unit struggle on the ranges, burning through ammo and ego, running drills in conditions I could have aced in my sleep. Morrison led them like he had something to prove, but when it came to real-world chaos, he'd never had to make the calls that kept families alive instead of filling out body counts. Rodriguez noticed to have done his time, 3 tours, knew competence when he saw it, and while he couldn't say it out loud, I saw in the way he trusted me with the more technical stuff, how he'd slide a tough maintenance job my way, and just nod like I know Vasquez. I know. Then came the storm, the kind that turns Montana mountains into death traps, and with it, the emergency that cracked open the base's neat little world. Code Red, blared over the intercom, and suddenly 2 hikers were stranded up on Devil's Ridge, weather coming in fast, one of them injured, rescue teams blocked by rockfall, helicopters grounded by wind shear. I heard the desperation in the comms, saw it in Rodriguez's face when he called me over standard protocols won't work. 6 hours minimum to reach them, but they don't have 6 hours. The rescue teams needed Overwatch, needed a way to get supplies to those climbers, and the AMU, for all their swagger, couldn't keep a visual in the storm. Let me back up a sec. What they needed wasn't just a shooter, but someone who knew ballistics cold, who could read the weather, who could make a shot through zero visibility, who could adapt on the fly. Rodriguez gave me the look, the can you do it? Look, and I felt something in me wake up, something that had been dormant way too long. I told them about the civilian scopes, the custom ammo. We got prototype rounds in storage designed for non-lethal delivery. I can get supplies to that ledge, but I need access. I need the Barrett, and I need you to look the other way. He hesitated, weighed his career against two strangers' lives, and then handed me the keys. Do what you have to, Vasquez. I was never here. I sat up on the roof, the storm howling. The world shrunk to a thermal image on my scope, two tiny heat signatures on a strip of rock, one barely moving, the other signaling for help. Ballistic computer running numbers, wind at 32 knots, temperature dropping, the shot window closing by the minute. I loaded the specialized round, checked everything twice one shot. That's all I'd get. Rodriguez coordinated radio silence. I took the shot, breath held at the bottom of the exhale, the Barrett's recoil familiar and welcome. Watch the round arc through the sleet, smack the cliff 18 inches from the climbers, deploy its payload like a miracle heat packs, comms, med supplies, all of it. For the first time in 18 months, I felt whole useful. The comms lit up. We've received supplies, injured climber responsive, and the mountain rescue team scrambled to take advantage of the new window. Helicopters moved in as the weather cleared just enough, and those hikers survived because someone broke the rules. But nothing in the military comes without a cost. Within hours, Colonel Hayes and a team of investigators were all over the armory who authorized the specialized ammo. Who made the shot? Morrison and his boys, for once, had nothing to say. The conditions had beaten them, and everyone knew it. My logs were clean, Rodriguez's were cleaner, but it didn't take a genius to connect the dots. Who else had the skills, the motive, the access? Still, the politics were tricky. Discipline, the people who saved lives, and you look like a fool. Let it go, and you open the door for more insubordination. Twist was Master Sergeant Williams, base's senior enlisted advisor, had been running his own quiet review. He dug up my real record commendations, after-action reports, the classified documents from Kandahar that no one had bothered to read. Turned out my insubordination had prevented a massacre, saved American face overseas, and all the higher-ups had wanted was for the mess to disappear. Williams put it all on Hayes's desk, and suddenly the investigation wasn't about a rule broken, but about a talent wasted. They re-examined everything: me court-martial, the assignment policies, the way troublemakers got buried. Even my old spotter wrote in, Vasquez saves more lives with restraint than most with firepower. Eventually, the truth was too loud to ignore. The hearing was different. This Timino accusations, just hard questions about how a base could throw away its best asset for politics. Hayes read out the findings: systematic failure, skills underutilized, assignment to be reconsidered. I sat there in my dress uniform, all those lost months in the armory swirling behind my eyes. But when Hayes asked if I had anything to say, all I could manage was, sometimes the right shot isn't the one you take. The room was quiet, the kind of quiet that comes before something changes for good or bad. Maybe next week I'll be back with the AMU, training the next batch of shooters. Maybe I'll get shipped out somewhere else. Or maybe, just maybe, the whole system will remember what it's like to put mission before ego, skill before politics. And if not, well, at least those two hikers got to go home, because somebody remembered that rules are meant to serve people, not the other way around. What about you? Where do you draw the line? When is following orders not enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue with me. Argue with each other, hell. Argue with the system if you want. That's what keeps us honest, right?